Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about DNA and the complications to our model of the tree of life. In the study of the history of life on Earth, the central piece to our understanding is evolution. A cursory glance at evolution purely defines the process that's determined by selective pressures responded to by random mutation. While this core idea is not necessarily wrong, it isolates our understanding of life from its much more complex intricacies. We will focus our view on the molecular side of things, down to the base components that make up you, I, and all other life forms on Earth. Through this perspective, we see life as not a tree of many branches endlessly fractalizing, but as a flowing river, moving in and out between a great central current. When an organism dies, its genetic material is lost, and its body is consumed by scavengers. When a microorganism dies, what happens to its remains? In many cases, the material is able to be metabolized for energy purposes by surrounding organisms, and in other cases, DNA and RNA of the cell is able to be uptaken and utilized by another organism. This is a quite important strategy of the bacteria Streptococcus pneumoniae, as amongst members of its own species, it will seek to kill any of its members through a competence-based quorum sensing mechanism, aka how bacteria communicate to each other. The quote incompetent members die from toxins released, then causing cell material to be released into the environment, including DNA. This material can be uptaken and incorporated into the genome or metabolized by S. pneumoniae or other nearby microbes. Killing and robbing is not the only mechanism that transfers genetic information. Many microorganisms are capable of directly transferring DNA through what is known as horizontal gene transfer, extending a tube that shoots genetic material into a neighboring cell. Normally, this process occurs to closely related organisms. However, it has been found to occur in very distant ones as well. The variety of genes that have been transferred include the most potent toxin known to man, botulinum neurotoxin. Typically, Clostridium botulinum can be found with several different versions of this toxin, some of which only affect certain host organisms. For example, two varieties of C. botulinum are able to inhabit a host intestinal tract and transfer different toxin genes amongst each other, leading to more severe infections in the host intestinal tract. A new challenge for scientists emerges as the abuse and misuse of antibiotics has led to the rise of resistant strains. These resistant strains are able to transfer their resistance genes to members of a community and decrease the overall efficacy of our many main lines of defense. Many of us remember from high school biology that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. But more interestingly, it has posed a challenge for scientists in explaining its origins as it is shown to have its own DNA. Through genetic analyses, we have come to understand that the mitochondria is a distant relative of a bacterium group, Alpha Proteobacteria. It is understood that an ancient ancestor of animals, fungi, plants, and others swallowed this bacterium group, which then formed a symbiotic relationship, allowing for greater energy production, leading to the evolution of multicellular organisms. One of the most compelling arguments in favor of the river of life model may stem from retroviruses. Viruses that have infected an organism and along the lines have planted their DNA inside of the DNA of the host. In mammals, an intrinsic characteristic is the placenta, and while not all mammals have them, it remains an important feature to determine our evolutionary relationships. A specific protein called syncytin, which plays a tremendous role in the formation of the placenta, is found to be originating from a virus implanted into a mammalian ancestor's genome, which found itself successful enough to propagate, leaving a fundamental mark on evolutionary history. While we continue trying to understand the history of life on Earth and the process of evolution, we must not be afraid to challenge ingrained dogma for a perspective that accommodates many other facets of biologies and strategies of survival. Thank you for listening and take care. And here are my references.